There we are.
Yes, let's check it. Let's see.
Yes. All good.
I can't see it on my end yet, but perhaps if you see it, we must be live.
I can also see it on YouTube. Not. Oh yes, I can see you live. Like I got a notification, so
Great.
we're good.
So we are on.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hey there. Sorry for this little technical glitch. We were just trying to make sure that you can see us.
Yeah. So
all
we
right,
are
Joanna.
as
So,
well, right?
sorry.
So we are live on YouTube as well.
Yes, we are.
Super.
Okay. So let me get started. Can I go ahead with the introduction, Joanna?
Yeah, totally. As always, you have the brains.
Okay. No. So, hi guys, I'm Radhika, and here we have Joanna with us. So we guys have started this new talk show called It's Time for Jo and Rad. And quickly to go over the format, it's a 20-minute thing that we'll do with a clock that Joanna will take care of. And we pick up a question, something that we are curious about, or things that we discuss as creative professionals. And today we'll be talking about, can your culture influence your growth? So in this 20-minute, we'll just be like picking up brains, being very candid. This is not something that's scripted. We just talk on the go. And after that, it's open for Q&A. So if you're tuning in live, we would love to hear your views. It's not that we'll be right. So please feel free to pitch in. And yeah, let's see how that goes.
Cool. Should I put the timer on?
I think so. I think it's time that we can get started.
So here we go, 20 minutes. And it's on. We're going to hear it out now when it's off. So we're going to try to solve this puzzle. How is the culture influencing our growth? Let's go.
Yes. Let's go. So, Joanna, do you want to start? Firstly, what does it mean to you? Or any stories that you want to tell?
Perhaps culture. Okay, so I have one thing that comes to my mind first, which is my kind of mindset. So Polish people, I'm from Poland, so maybe that was important thing to say first. I'm Polish, for everyone who doesn't know. And, Polish people are very well known for working hard. So when I got my first job abroad, which was in Cyprus, I was working at a hotel. I was so proud of it. So, everybody would say, Polish people work hard. So I would like kind of wear it as a badge, Polish people work hard, and I'm so proud of it. So I was staying like 12 hours. I was pushing my minibar, and I was so proud of it, to be the hardworking Polish force that I forgot like to grow and kind of see that I'm kind of maybe being used at some point. And while it's good to work hard, of course, that's one aspect of it. At the same time, people just see me as a cheap workforce. So I thought that I have to make up for my culture. And I always thought that because I'm Polish, I should be that cheap and hardworking force. But maybe it was just my mindset and not necessarily something to like be that proud of. So I think it took me maybe 5-6 years to change that mindset. I'm not sure if that's a good opener, but I think that's the first cultural mindset that comes to my mind.
No, I think that's great to talk about something like this because I can relate to whatever you said. I am from India, for those of you who might not know. And I have a similar outlook and a similar mindset because fortunately or unfortunately, even with India, the general perception is that yes, Indians would work hard and, there is work that can just go on to it. So I wouldn't want to say it, but then yes, I think for the good for everyone, probably, I would want to share that Indians, I had this issues wherein I was not really valued for the thinking. So it was the first thing that was considered is, okay, you can do the work. So, yes, at least it's great that we bringing this out, and anybody who's kind of probably, not liking this space. I'm sure there must be people struggling with it. So I think we can get over such things, right? What do you think?
Um, I think it takes some practice. And what happened that kind of broke this mindset for you? What was the, point where you said, okay, I can actually get paid for the thinking, no matter where I'm from, no matter like, what's my background? Did you have any like moment in your life that?
Um, I don't have like a single moment. I would also want to share that this was not something that honestly held me back. This has been a part of my culture, and it's definitely made things tougher for me, but I never put it as my own mental block. So even if this came my way, I would just keep moving on, you know what I mean? That I wouldn't let it stop me. It, of course, it bothers. Of course, you have to work a little harder, but it wasn't something that was stopping me. How about you?
That's
How
great
did you
because
overcome
for me
that
it was
thing?
the opposite. Actually, I think I let the mindset stop me for years when I was in the university and when I just started working. And I think for me, actually, the turning point was when I started to work in the bank, in the finance like industry, and I always wanted to be valued for the thinking. And I would say like, why don't we do this cool infographics or something? And then at some point, the manager would say like, because the number says people don't want it. And then I was standing there like, okay, I really don't know what to say. And then I realized, okay, maybe it's not only my culture that's pushing me back or anything, but it's also I'm lacking the knowledge. So I think this was the turning point for me that said, okay, like you can do anything you want, just like you have to learn the things, because when the business person asks you, what are the numbers and who wants to see that illustration, then I should have an answer. So I think for me, this was the point when I realized like, okay, that's just my fault that I haven't changed.
Yeah, I mean, that's really brave of you to really share that so candidly, because of course, like it's not very easy to share it. But I do agree that probably this is a little mix of mindset and culture, because uh, I at least believe that even if there is something which is being set very strongly by your culture, you might have to fight against it. You will have to gather a lot of courage, but it is possible to get over it. And I want to just add on another example how it's probably affected me is that I come from this place wherein, again, it's a mix of culture, values, mindset, wherein we've always been really good to people. Okay. So, like the whole idea of saying something wrong or being unkind or saying no to things was never a part of me growing up, or was never really there. And then the other thing that I would say is, in India we have a lot of relatives. Okay, we have like a huge family. So let's say if there's some work related thing that comes up within the family, if somebody tells me, so I learned then this when I met people from other cultures. They were so okay with talking work with a family member when it comes to money, when it comes to defining boundaries. And honestly, I still cannot do it. So let's say I'm working
Oh,
for people I know, uh, like that would be the last thing. I still cannot do it. We just cannot do it. Like it's a given. How can you talk that with people and especially family members?
so does it mean you are not polite if you would talk about business or money?
Yeah, I
Yes.
would. It's being impolite, or it's being like, uh, with family, how can you do it? Like it's uncomfortable for
Okay.
me to even talk about it. It gets me conscious. So yeah.
Could it influence like your growth? Because like I would, okay, so it's not as much maybe in my culture, or I'm not sure because that would be very specific, maybe also to the family. But it would be very common that a family member would ask me, can you design a website for me or anything like that? And it would be really uncomfortable to say no or charge for it, but it would be easier for me to speak up. Like I learned over the time that I just can't make it happen for all of them. But yes, I get your point. So as how would that affect your work? Like
Well, yeah.
in what sense does it influence your growth, this part of your culture?
Um, let's say probably I've also kind of gotten used to it and comfortable about the idea. But I would surely say that it spreads a wrong message because let's say you've done something for a family member, any kind of work, but that leaves them with that image that, okay, that's what you do. Because the other challenge is that it's very tough to explain a creative career to
Mhm.
people you know. So that gets passed on because I've now it's really stopped because I think I've also gotten over it. But if I look back, there were times wherein that would multiply. So they would refer me to people, and I would keep getting that kind of work, which probably I just didn't, you know, just like a family member, but I wouldn't want to do it for clients. But there was a phase wherein it was multiplying and it was actually leaving me really frustrated because I was like, okay, I did it just to help you and because we're family, but now I'm getting clients like that, which I don't really want.
Yes.
So that has happened.
Well, I find this really hard because it's, you need to make money, right?
Yeah.
Also. And I had my friends saying, oh, you'd make so many pretty drawings. Can you make me one? You know, and I just learned over time to say, to my clients, I charge 500 euros for it. But if you want, I can make it for a birthday. So I try
Mm.
to show the position. Okay, this is the money I usually take. Then I would say, but of course you are my friend, so I will not take this money. But let's make it your birthday gift so that also I don't spend money on the birthday gift. So they kind of value my time as well. I don't know if that makes sense, but would it be impolite to do in India?
Oh my God, at least with I wouldn't do it right away.
So how would the role play work in India? Like, let's say I'm your cousin and I say, Radhika, can you please make me a website? Just 15 pages. Come on. Can you make it for me? And like for tomorrow?
I mean, yes, now I've still gathered the courage to kind of draw the line. But my first instinct would be that, yeah, I can do it. Like, just give me
Really?
some time. I would figure out things and do it for you.
That's really hard. That's really hard because you also pay, you have a team, right? So you pay your designers, you pay your taxes, and running a business is not cheap.
Yeah.
And
But
are there
as
any positive influences from the culture that like spike your growth? Something that made you grow faster because of the culture? Do you have anything like that?
I wouldn't say faster, but I would definitely say that specifically, I come from Rajasthan. I'm not sure if you're aware that in India, so that's like a state which is really known for its hospitality. So the word Rajasthan literally means a place of the kings. So it's associated with a lot of royal tales, and yeah, I can see. So I would quickly say this. So that kind of makes me the good side of being a people pleaser is that it helps you bond with people better. And I can think of things on a very large scale. So, which is a good aspect of the design part because we're into branding and things like that. So, that helps me in that way, if that
So you
makes
can
sense. How
connect
about
with
you?
people better, you could
Yeah.
say even. I
Yeah.
think it's very similar actually to Poland because we are very open. So like if you have a neighbor in Poland, it's easily the case you could go downstairs to take some sugar, and like it's just within the culture, right? So like when a
Right.
granny in the block had a birthday, we would all go to celebrate it together. So I think I actually love this part because when I moved to Cyprus, it was not that common that people would be that open to each other. So I think I was missing it. And now in the business, it helped me to be open and kind of create this, it's easy for me to connect with people, I think. I'm sure there are many
Right.
more good benefits from my culture, but I think I can easily say that this is something I really love about it, that I can really count on my community, friends, neighborhood. I really like that part.
Right. And do you think it's possible to, let's say there's something which is stopping my growth and because of my culture and values, how easy do you think it might be to get over it or, from your perspective?
I think there has to be some trigger. Like for me, it was that banker who actually made me realize that, it has nothing to do with my culture. Whatever I do, it's so for me, there had to be some external trigger to remind me that I can make a change. But once I knew this, I did not find it hard. So let's say the pricing in Poland could be very low, but okay, then I could find clients abroad as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can easily solve all these not problems, but like challenges that come with your culture, let's say. And yeah, I think I didn't find it that hard. Perhaps the only part that is hard is that reaching out to people, there is that label. There is that label. So when I get a lot of inquiries, it's just like, bam, the email, like, can you do this, that, that? And I'm like, I can do your strategy. And they look at me, who are you to make my strategy, And they are very, very suspicious because I don't know, perhaps I'm a woman, I'm a little woman, I'm from Poland, like, I don't know if I could, and I don't know if I could have more disadvantages, But then I try to build that trust as well, right? So I try to be I'm not doing anything else different than people in other cultures, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I can just look up to what others are doing and do the same, right? So nothing really stops me to build that trust despite where I'm from.
That's
How
actually true. I completely agree. And I would also say that, in spite of the fact that there have, whatever I've shared, but Indian culture, the core of it, at places it could be really orthodox. So I am luckily not, I haven't grown up in that space wherein things were restricted and I did not have access to really reach out to people. But the heart of the country, it could be really orthodox, like girls would not be allowed to go out and work. So I think that's tougher. That's a real challenge. If it's at that level and you want to get to a global audience, then I think that's a real struggle and a lot of things to get over it. But I would say that from at least our conversation, what I figure out is, for us, probably it's a little more mindset oriented. Like, we can still control it, we can still change it. And the only thing I would probably ask you as a closing thing is that, do you think we should feel guilty if we're going against our values at any point for the sake of growth?
It came to me many times. No, it depends, right? How do you use it? I never speak bad of my culture. There are some like kind of stereotypes, right? But they are still just stereotypes. And we also have to be candid and kind of honest about the kind of things that are, that are there. It's not a secret that we are perceived as this or that, right? So it's just up to us to show up in a way that we would like it to be, to kind of challenge these stereotypes, I think. So I hope that makes sense. And what would you advise to people who are in the culture that is really restrictive, let's say, where the woman cannot even work? There are places like that, right?
Yeah.
But they might love their culture still. What would be the advice for you to them? Like how they can keep growing, but kind of still love their culture?
I know what you're saying. And I think it goes back to my core, some of the mantras like I have. So I think I would say as a closing thing that if the culture is, if you're really okay with it, if there's nothing like which is, you're feeling sad about, then it's okay. Then it shouldn't be like everybody needs to go out and work and be out there. No, it's about being happy at the end of the day. But if it is that you have ambitions and you want to be out there, then I think, yes, gather the courage and make your way out. So at the end of the day, I think it's about being happy, I would say.
Yeah. So have the courage to be happy.
Yeah, actually, that's a good closing, right?
No, because for some will be harder, when there are more factors like religion, finance,
Right.
difficult situations at home. So you could be having all those aspects, and that would be much harder for you. So I think it's still possible to do anything. It's just, so you'll be still moving forward, just a little bit slower, and you just have to take time, and that's okay, right? So either way, take what's good from your culture, keep it, the things that are like slowing down your growth, you can work on it. Just perhaps take your time and don't be frustrated maybe if it's not as fast as for the others, because we are also different, right? We cannot absolutely compare the cultures. It would take us 3 hours, the show, I think.
I know, I totally agree. And I think that's a good closing to have, that at the end of the day, it's about just being happy, as you said. So even if it's slower, just keep moving, just keep finding your happiness rather than letting your culture define your growth, right?
Makes sense. I think so. I like that. And I think we are 3 minutes to the end. And then we're going to have another 10 minutes for the audience if they want to add something.
Yes.
Okay,
So
cool.
if you guys are watching us live and if you have any questions, you want to contradict us or add, so please let us know in the comments. And in case you watch the stream later, then also if you want to leave any comments for us or probably send us DMs on our Instagram, I'm at the rate of Laughing Popcorn, and Joanna, you are at?
Varoyanna.
Yeah. So we would be happy to address your queries there as well, right?
Perhaps leave in the comment where are you from and what is your biggest challenge because of your culture. This I'm really curious.
Yeah.
But it will be really hard to beat us, so you can do it.
Yeah.
So if anyone is watching live and can share where are you from, maybe?
Yes, that would be good to know.
Nobody.
Any closing last thoughts, Joanna, before the clock is ticking on this topic?
It's stressful. It's 1 minute. I don't want to say anything because if I do, then it's going to be very stressful. Perhaps the point is that, the cultures, they're both cool and can be good and bad. Is you just have to take what you want and keep it and work on the other part. Yeah. I have so many cultures in my background that I think I got lost.
No, but that's something really true what you're saying, that no matter what it gives you, it's really on you, on what you take and how you interpret it. And I would just add to it that at the end of the day, it's about you being happy. So, yeah.
And you can make kind of your own culture.
Oh,
that's it.
there we are.
Yeah. So we've got a few more minutes if anyone wants to add anything, I guess.
Yep. So if there is anyone out there, so if you want to just say us a hi, that would also be okay, so that we know that you're there. And if there are any questions, you can add on.
Radhika, have you always been living in India or did you live abroad as well?
No, I've always been in India. I've just traveled abroad, but I've been in India. How about you?
So you're loyal on the end.
Yeah, to be honest,
I lived in Cyprus, in Czech Republic, and now I'm in Hungary. So I'm a forever expat.
I've traveled a lot within the countries, in the sense like I've shifted places a lot because of my studies and things like that. So I've moved around and I've stayed in very varied conditions, like with the family, with friends, with strangers, alone. So I've done that experience, but not cultural changes as such.
Well, that's also cultural change when you change the, family, city,
Yeah.
even it could also influence, right? Something new.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I mean, that would call for another conversation. I don't even want to start it off right now. So
Definitely.
I have very strong views about that part. So, yes.
Definitely. We can pick it up next week.
Yeah. All right. So, for now, if there are no further questions, we can end the show for today.
Yeah, totally.
All right. Thank you for guys, whoever has been watching us, because I can see there have been viewers. So even if you have questions later on, we would be happy to look into it.
Totally.
All right. See you next week.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.